This is probably one of the most simple, difficult chip shots you're gonna see because there's so many options here. You could get it high, middle, low, and I see a lot of amateurs making a mistake of trying to go high on these.
So Brad, let's talk about the basic chip. What's the goal of it? Obviously keeping it low, letting it run out. Talk about reading it and what you do and how you think about it.
Yeah, this is probably one of the most simple, difficult chip shots you're gonna see because there's so many options here. You could get it high, middle, low, and I see a lot of amateurs making a mistake of trying to go high on these. So your percentage is always gonna be best if you use a lower loft. Your misses are gonna be better. You're gonna have a little bit more consistent rollout. So as long as you can land something on the green, which I typically think is the best fashion when it comes to chipping, landing on the green is gonna have the most predictable first bounce. In this situation right here, a pitch and wedge, a good rule of thumb is about a third of the way.
Okay.
So if you land around a third of the way, you're not gonna go off very far. It's gonna depend on the surfaces that you're playing on. In this situation, we're gonna land about a third of the way, which is just a couple feet on the green. Again, chipping along the stick line, this actually has some break here. That's another common mistake I see is not reading chip shots.
And people can use different loft clubs. We're using a pitching wedge for simplicity, and kind of my recommendation is unless you're gonna practice a lot with an 8-iron, a 9-iron, a pitching wedge, pick a club, practice with that and get used to it. So we're showing a pitching wedge today just as an example and probably recommend that.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, if you practice with this just a little bit, it doesn't take a lot.
Right.
And I see a lot of amateurs practicing with 60 degrees a little bit too much. So if you start pitching with a pitching wedge and chipping with a pitching wedge, you're gonna start getting pretty proficient with it. Okay. And in this situation, the highest odds is gonna be a chipping with a pitching wedge.
Okay, and you're gonna read this like a putt, so it's gonna break once it gets on the green. So are you gonna pick a spot, or how are you gonna do that?
Yeah, I mean, again, rule of thumb is about a third of the way. It will vary course to course, but it's never gonna serve you too bad. I've already read this shot and I've put the alignment stick on this. It's around 1.5 feet of break.
Okay.
So really all you're looking at is your break and then your landing spot. With this shot, if you land it somewhere in that area, it should roll out the rest of the way.
All right, let's see it.
Yeah, so keeping it simple, ball in the middle of your stance, feet square, club face square. Again, lining up the alignment stick's really helpful. And once everything gets pretty square, you just find your landing spot out there, which is a foot under the green, a third of the way, and then you just hit that spot.
Nice.